all of these movements were not popular. The women's voting movement, the suffragette movement, the Martin Luther King's didn't think that this was going to be called the civil rights movement. It wasn't like he coined the term. It wasn't a hashtag or anything back then. So all of these movements were not necessarily popular back then, and it was not, the entire nation or even the entire black community engaged in marching. He said if I could get 5% of the population of blacks to get out into the streets, I could make a huge change. Just 5%, and I don't even think he got that. But he got thousands and thousands of people to support. And you did have allies, and people got it wrong, and and that's okay. When we were out there, we went to Stanford, and these two pretty white, tall, blonde girls came up and, started talking about how they could get involved in Black Lives Matter. And they were already doing work in San Quentin, I believe. And I was like, well, and she said, well, we got made fun of. And I'm like, well, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, I get involved in the Islamic community and I say the wrong thing and then I get corrected and then I correct myself whenever I make that mistake again. Or if I do my best not to make that mistake again and then correct other people when they make that mistake, and that spreads. And I don't think anybody should wait until they have all the information to get involved. They will say wrong things. So I think it's really important. Like, it's not popular right now necessarily, even though there is a groundswell. It's still, you still encounter things like, well, the Christians haven't ever done things like this, and you're like, well, you're actually living on the foundation of some very terrible acts done in the name of Christianity, like Manifest Destiny, aka genocide. So there's there's certain things, that you say, and then people are like, oh, well, okay, and then they get corrected and then they move on. I don't think anybody needs to. I think we do need to know if you could name some of the prominent or people that you respect that are people of color in the LGBTQ community that are doing the work correctly, that can disseminate the information or whatever, that would help. But also, don't wait until you have those people available to you to get involved. We need the allies.